removing yourself from the situation is sometimes what it takes, because just like that saying, you don't know what you got until it's gone. And it's not your job to prove your value to other people. Do you get paid to prove your value to people? Huh? No? Okay, it's not your job then. You don't get paid to prove yourself to people. You don't need to do this. Be a valuable person. Be true to the person that you really are. And the people that belong in your life will value you for the person that you truly are. This is not to say that you shouldn't try to be a better person. That's always, if you're watching, especially if this is you're on my YouTube channel, I'm always talking about self-improvement, improving the person that you are, always being a better person. What I'm saying is, if you already know that you're a valuable person and you have somebody, whether it's a friend, a family member, a significant other, that doesn't seem to appreciate the things you do, they don't seem to see the value in you, you got to understand that that's not something that you have to fix. That's something in the other person. Stop trying so hard to make them know that they should want you around. If you're not going to appreciate me, if you don't see the value in me, then there's no value in us having this relationship. There's no value in us having this friendship. If you don't see the value in me, and I know that I'm a value to you, then that's a toxic situation. You have to understand, some people will never see the value in you, and some people don't want to see the value in you. There's some people who don't want to see the value in you because they don't want to, they want to do what they want to do, and they don't want to feel bad if they were to lose you. And not only that, sometimes this is a mind trick that some people play on you to make you feel like you're not valuable, so that you can constantly be trying to, hold on to them, and you feel like, oh man, well, if they don't want me, if I'm not good enough for them, like, who would want me? You cannot stay in these toxic situations. And a lot of times, if you will really think about it and be honest, when you have somebody, if you're experiencing a situation when somebody is not valuing you, you have to think about how valuable is this person who you so badly want to value you. Most often time, the person who you're trying to get to see how much of an asset, or see how good of a girlfriend you are, or how good of a friend you are, most times when you look at it, they're not really much of a value to you. And that's why I say that's where the mind tricks come in. The mind tricks come in, and people who are not that good, they're not good people. They're trying to keep good people around them. They don't know how to operate in a healthy relationship. And so they hold on to people by making people feel less than. They hold on to people by making people feel like you don't have another option, so you might as well stay here. You can't be sticking around for that. When you have a really good partner, or you find a really good friend, you don't have, you just be the person that you are. You are a good person, you are a valuable person, you're a trustworthy person. Being that person you are, things will naturally flow. There might be some, things that you have to get through. I'm not going to say you get into a relationship or you get into a friendship, everything is going to be so smooth. But it shouldn't be, like I said, like a pop quiz. It shouldn't be like every single day you having to figure out, what should I do, and why did they do that, and why did... No, it shouldn't be so hard. So you shouldn't have to sit there and try, get people to see how good of a person you are, how good of a friend you are, how good of a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a wife, or husband that you are. If you are this good of a person, if you actually live and truly do these things that you are, acting like you do, you won't have to prove it. You won't, and you shouldn't have to constantly prove that. The right people will appreciate you for the person you are, if you are a good person. Because a lot of us are not used to seeing healthy friendships, healthy relationships, healthy anything. We don't know how to navigate within healthy spaces. We don't know how to have healthy relationships with anybody, whether it be intimate relationships, whether it be familiar relationships, friendships, any of that stuff. Sometimes you have to grow, and then you have to let other people grow. Removing yourself from the situation is sometimes what it takes, because just like that saying, you don't know what you got until it's gone. That is very true for a lot of people. If you are a person that is giving tremendous value to someone because you know you're a valuable person. Naturally, anybody around you is going to benefit, which you should be. Those are the kind of people that you should be around, and those are the kind of people, that's the kind of person that you should be. If you know that, people who are good for you should be able to recognize, understand, appreciate, and return the value to you. There are situations where you have to take yourself out of the situation in order for somebody to see, man, I wasn't treating them right, or I was taking them for granted, or I was, I should have been doing this, or I should have been doing that. There's times where those things work, but you have to be willing to let people go without you in order to get the treatment that you actually deserve. My first suggestion to anybody is to tell somebody what the issue is, especially if you know that there's a chance that they may be receptive. Even if not, it may make you feel better if you tell them before you ghost them, like, hey, listen, I just don't feel like you appreciate the person I am. Like, I do this, I do that, and the one time that I'm not there for you, you get upset with me. That doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me feel like you value me as a friend. It doesn't make me feel like you value me as a girlfriend, a boyfriend. It doesn't make me feel like you value me. That would be what I feel like is something that you should do before you go ghost. But don't be scared to go ghost on somebody. Don't be scared to, even if it's just temporary, to cut somebody off just to get the point across, just so they can understand what they were taking for granted. You have to be willing to let people see how it is to live without you. That might be what it takes to actually, for that person to see the value that you actually brought to their lives. Nobody's perfect, but everybody should be working on it. But there are some situations where you can have a relationship that is well worth the fight. But each person has to be willing to do the work. And if a situation like this works, if you are able to take yourself out of the situation for a little while and then see that the person is now treating you differently, or see that they're acknowledging, or even comes to you and ideally comes to you and says, like, hey, I see you haven't been talking to me, and I realize that I've been taking you for granted. I haven't been appreciating the things that you've done, and I haven't been. That might be the key of what you need to do. So when you letting somebody see what it's like to be without you, it doesn't have to be a permanent thing, but you just want it to be a radical thing to employ a radical change. Sometimes you need to do a radical thing to employ a radical change. You need to be okay with letting people see how it is to be without you, because sometimes this is what you need for them to see that they need to make a change.